So I was down at Zach and Tori's earlier this weekend, and
Shout out Second Tory.
shout out Zach and Tori, and we watched two movies together: The Strangers
Ooh.
and Evil Dead.
Ooh. Fuck yeah, you watched Evil Dead.
and
That's awesome. I know we talked about that we should get that on the
Yeah.
pod. Yeah, cool. What'd you think?
Yeah. I liked Evil Dead a lot. That was super fun. I liked parts of The Strangers, but it really lost me near the end, I'll say.
Yeah.
You know? Specifically, I don't know. So, all of the strangers are dressed in, like...
Burlap sacks and
formal attire.
Yeah.
Well,
the head,
they have burlap sacks over their faces.
Yeah. But then they look like they're going to an interview.
But they're wearing...
Right.
Right. But it's like they just, like, the people who are being terrorized just came from a wedding, and, like, we get, like, a flashback to that wedding, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe that will tie in to these people also wearing formal attire.
It was because they were home.
Just not at all.
It was because they were, I mean, didn't you, that was the whole,
yeah.
because they were home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie either.
I also just thought that was dumb. Yeah, like everything, I'll say everything up until the point where they run out to the barn.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like...
just a slasher.
Like, just bleedingly apparent that they're, like, just trying to inflict fear upon these people.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, I, as an audience member, am no longer scared because, like, the stakes have been removed for, like, the people here. I'm like, all right, like, yes, they are being terrorized. Yeah, that's kind of scary, but, like... I'm like, well, like, nothing's gonna happen to them until the end, right? And then nothing happened to them until the end. I was like, okay.
And then the end is like, they just kind of get stabbed and die. Like, it's like not even like an exciting death.
Yes!
I do remember...
I know!
I do remember it being a very visceral, like, the stabbing being, like, really up close and, like, the reactions being really, like, played, like, drawn out. But it is kind of just, like... It's very mundane in a way that the movie kind of, I guess, is the point, right? The whole idea of like, oh, it's just random acts of violence, whatever. There's no point to it that makes it scarier, sure. But it is kind of just like, oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
It also, like, the whole random acts of violence thing, if they were maybe more, I guess, attached to the violence, right? Because it's not like, they're not there for the violence, they're there for the scaring them, right? And then they're like, oh, like, we're killing you because we took off our masks at the end.
Yeah, which we didn't have to do, really. Like, yeah. They're just some people.
Yeah, but just, like, didn't have to do that. Like, for right now, you have no idea who we are.
Right.
And, like, really anything that could be traced off of, like, the car that we're leaving there. Like that leaves so much evidence behind, like, physical evidence that's like, all right, well, like, at a certain point, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're getting away with it, like, you could just leave him tied up, and it just doesn't matter, you know?
Right.
Or you could do, like, the Heath Ledger thing, like, where he's, like plays around with, like, the knife around people's faces, you know?
Sure.
He's like, I got these scars, like, that sort of thing. It's like, oh, like threatening, like, more types of violence, or, like, having more of, like, it was, I don't know. But, like, everything up until, like, the 3/4 point of the film, great. Really loved it. Super excellent.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, you know, and you got like, really just iconic, scary guy standing there. Just like a guy fucking standing there scene. Yeah. Like, that scene, that was all over the marketing, and it took me a long time to see that movie as an adult. I only saw it, I want to say, like, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, so it was a while, but that marketing has always stayed with me, of, like, him chilling in the background while she's, like, fucking around in the living room, kind of looking, it's chilling. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. But yeah, a letdown overall. But I feel like at least it has this iconic place in the culture. Like, it's kind of a fun, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it was very fun and, like, super cool and interesting. Again, like, right up until a point.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know, it just lost me, and, like, the magic was completely broken.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm just, like...
Yeah.
I'm just no longer scared. I'm just watching this to finish the movie. And I was like, okay.
Bro, cool. Yeah, true.
Evil Dead
fucking
didn't have any of that, bro.
Yeah.
The whole time, I was like,
Hell yeah. You know, like... That's a fun movie. That is a great movie. Yeah, that's an old-timer. I think I mentioned when we talked about them before that, like, you can kind of either be a person who really likes the first one, or you can be a person who really likes the second one. Like people people fuck with all three, but you know, the first and second are so tonally different. So I would be curious to know, because the second one is like dialed the fuck up. Like the first one's really crazy and like scary, like really, but like the second one is like over the top, but not in like a, like it hits a sweet spot where it's not too cheesy. Like, or it's like, it's the cheesiness isn't like repellent the way that some cheesy horror movies can be. So I'd be curious to see, like, it has a lot of the, like, the foundation of like the Raimi Spider-Man, like, comedy in it. There is a scene in that movie, in Evil Dead 2, there's like a shot, like a sight gag that made me have to pause the movie and like walk out of the room because I was laughing so hard. It got me so good, just like watching it alone, and I had to like get up and leave. Yeah. Like, so, but you liked the first one.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. A lot of cool effects. Just like a fun movie overall.
Especially for the time.
A lot of like cool. Yeah, a lot of really cool like callbacks, I guess I'll say, where like when you're watching it, you're like, oh,
foreshadowing.
It's like, oh, like this is going to be used in the future. Yeah, and then like when it does, it's like like the nail gun.
Didn't they know about Chekhov's gun? Yeah, right. Like Chekhov's nail gun.
Yeah. The electric whatchamacallit, like meat slicer. Mm-hmm. I was like, especially because like it's such a visceral scene where they're like cutting roast beef or something. Yeah. I was like, who brings like a hunk of roast beef
to the cabin?
To the fucking, like, cabin in the woods. It's like, bro, come on.
That's so funny.
But yeah, super fun.
Yeah, you know, I've never seen the remake, the one that came out like 10 years ago. It's supposed to be like fucking incredible. So I'd be curious to watch that sometime. Even for this pod, it could be a good we want to WAIL. Because that one has a big cultural footprint too. The remake does, like, people, I think it got a lot of people into the franchise, which is cool. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, super fun.
Have you seen any other movies? Did you say 3? That you've seen 3?
Yeah, I was counting this movie of the 3.
What is this movie? Wait, what are we doing? Are we recording our Discord conversation? No,
Lane.
No.
Right now, we're hosting a podcast called We Want to Watch. My name's Ricky.
I am Lane. And this is a podcast where we talk about movies we want to watch. That was elegant. Look at us. You know, we don't need to write out an intro. We don't need an intro. We are so good at this.
When we were first starting potting, you were like, "Oh, like, you're like, how much should we like script of this? Like, do we need like a intro script yada yada?" We're like, "Nah, fuck it." And like now that it's gone on long, you're like, maybe we should like record these intros because Rick, you're just so dog shit at them, and I'm like, no, it's fine.
It's part of the charm. It's part of the charm.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I wanted to shout out. There was a new listener, City. I think I shouted out Sydney, Australia before already. London.
Land Down Under, shout out.
Shout out to the Land Down Under. Manchester. No, I can't. Richmond, Virginia? I don't know if I'm not sure if I know who lives in Richmond, Virginia. I mean, I just assume that these are my friends who've moved and I don't know about it, but like, or that they're like on vacation somewhere. Yeah. But shout out to any new watchers who've come along. Anyway, what's the movie?
I think my friend Zach lives in Virginia, and I have told him about the pod. I don't know if he watches, though.
Is this Zach and Tori Zach? No, because they live in...
Zach? No.
I was gonna say,
no.
Shout out.
It's not Zach and Cheese. It's the other Zach.
Shout out other Zach. Shout out second.
Yeah.
Did you just say his last name? Do I have to fucking bleep his last name right now?
I did not. I said other Zach. I didn't...
You didn't say it's not Zach and...
I said it's not Zach and Cheese.
Zach and Cheese. Okay.
Who is...
God damn it! All right, so fucking. I don't. Oh my god, I don't want.
I originally knew Zach as Zach and Cheese, and so and it's funny. I think I have a paper or a letter from them.
Got a thesis
when Zach
statement.
And Tori sent out their like wedding invitations.
You were like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Tori got like a no. Tori got a stamp that says Zach and Tori on it.
Yeah.
And so I started going like, oh, here it is. Oh, it's Tori Hart Zach.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah.
And they have one of their cats on the back.
Oh, adorable.
Yeah. It was pretty cute.
Shout out Zach and Tori.
And that's right.
And shout out Zach from Virginia as well.
And also, fun fact about Rick, I save letters that are sent to me, and specifically the envelopes, and I've got a bunch of them because
you're a fucking
really
hoarder.
Appreciate people.
Yeah.
Well, partially that, and also, I don't know. I just like envelopes. Like, this is a cool one. This is another wedding invitation. I don't know. They're nice.
I'm mostly fascinated that you just have these within arm's reach at your computer desk. That like they're not even like on the fridge. Like
no, that's more happenstance. I have the actual invitations on the fridge.
Oh, sure.
But then like I have the envelopes all in one drawer, right?
It's so you have such a like an old lady streak in you. It's nuts. You really do have like an old person streak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I went to church with an old lady who she is.
Is this like yesterday?
She was born one day before me.
Or like
no. But no. But she's turning 104 this year.
Damn.
The day before me, and yeah, she used to save like everything she got. There was a room in her home that was devoted like specifically to papers, and like. That includes like every receipt she had ever gotten.
It's fucking insane. That's it. So, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh my god, no, that's not cool. Yeah. That is a disease of the mind. I'm sorry. Cool. No,
it's not.
If it was
she
like
didn't save anything else,
she didn't.
It's just like receipts and stuff, and like papers,
Papers is like an enormous fucking like amount of stuff. Like paper, just like all papers. Like it's crazy. Not like
it was a lot of stuff. Well, like stuff that was important to her. She would save the like Christmas cards she would get from her family each year. First she would hang them up on like the like banister, like her stairs going up. It was cute, yeah. And then she would take them down and she would have them in a nice little pile. She would put them on top of the other Christmas letters.
Good for her. Good, good for her. Introduce this movie. Since it was a Rick's fucking pick.
Good Boy by, it is a Rick's pick, by Ben Lindbergh.
Yes. When did it come out?
2025.
Oh shit, that's crazy. This is our third new release, right? Of this. Did I make that up? Was this
year?
No, the second.
We had.
It's more than third for the whole year, I think. Hold please.
Well, I mean, going backwards, we had Good Boy, we had Him. Before that, we had, the Minecraft movie with Psy?
Yeah.
And then before that, we had, I don't know, well, Civil War was 2024, but I think technically falls within the last, 12 months, if you count that. But it wasn't a 2025 movie, right?
Yeah.
I think.
So this is our third new release of the year. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, yeah, so you had picked this movie. I kind of was surprised. I wasn't surprised that this was on your radar. Well, okay, tell me more. Tell me why you picked this movie. Tell us all.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly why. I do remember seeing something about it, and I recall reading that it was like a sort of like interesting take on like the horror genre. Specifically that, it's a haunted house from the eyes of a dog. I was like, dude, I would be scared shitless as a dog in a haunted house. Let's see how they, play this, right? And so, yeah, I was definitely looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, that was why I was like, I was kind of surprised that you had heard about it, because I knew the trailer went viral. Like, this was I want to say 6 months ago or so, the trailer, popped off, and I remember thinking, oh, this is bad for this movie, actually. This movie shouldn't have gotten famous. And, I don't know. I haven't really dove into reviews or anything like that. And I'm not sure. I think this movie, I can't imagine this movie didn't make money. But I kind of was I didn't know. I was kind of, sad or, I don't want to say cringed about it getting all this attention and then going wide, because when it got the attention, that's when people it got picked up by like IFC, to be like, oh, there's, there's like a mass market for this movie, like a big audience for it that like will show up in theaters all over. I thought that this would play better as like a really tiny, not in a lot of theaters, indie movie. Yeah, that like people would pick up word of mouth over time. Instead of like, and be like, yeah. And especially because I kind of, watching the trailer and like it having such such a high concept premise. I'm going to try not to use the G word, but, like such a,
Which G word?
Gimmicky. No, gimmicky.
Oh, okay.
But like,
well, hey, did we use gimmicky to describe Babadook?
Babadook. Did we? Have we talked about the Babadook?
Maybe not Babadook. What movie am I thinking of? The shits on the ceiling.
Hereditary.
Like
the last movie.
Skinamarink.
Yeah, it's not
Skinamarink. Okay, well, close. That was close.
How dare you? I use that phrase.
Hey, baby, come on.
Oreo's like, fuck, good boy. No, my point is, the idea of like this movie going wide just felt like the wrong like way of platforming it. Because I figured this would be a better movie for people to discover over time at home in a home environment with like not a lot of expectation versus like a movie in theaters. There's like different expectations there. Like you see, and I know that's like kind of a, when you think of like certain like Oscar movies or like just like awardsy movies in general, like the release strategy is so important. And so I kind of thought like this release strategy was ill-advised. But I saw this with a couple people. Did you go alone the other night?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, there was like a lot of buzz about this in the group that I went with, and like everyone left disappointed. Mm-hmm. Everyone was like, yeah, that was like not very good. So and maybe your mileage may vary, but I felt like this movie kind of like didn't need to exist. So, but you liked it a lot from what I remember when I was fucked up last night, and I called you and made you talk to me about League of Legends so I could sober up.
I wouldn't say I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I thought it was fine. So yes, I agree. It was high concept, and I really appreciate that it was high concept. I had not seen the trailer before going into this, so I did not have like an idea of like what the tone would be like.
Yeah.
And I will say it doesn't feel like a horror movie because it's not scary. And we talked about 2 horror movies earlier, and specifically both of those, I called fun. We like because they are fun movies, right?
Yeah.
But I think like a big difference between them is like you can have a horror movie that's like fun and not really too scary outside of like certain gory aspects and like things that maybe make you uncomfortable, which is what I would call Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't like many things that like I wasn't like scared,
It's scary in a different way.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Like there's definitely like scary imagery in that movie, but like it's not locking you up.
Gotta go. You can't do that. Sorry, Oreo's knocking over the mic. You gotta.
Oreo doesn't want us to fucking record this podcast. This good boy Pupperino fucking movie propaganda. But yeah, like Evil Dead does not lock you in the same way of like, ooh, it's really tense and on edge. Like there's scary stuff that you're like, I don't want to see this like on a like visceral level of like, oh, this is gross. But like, it's not the same. Yeah.
Well, even that, like a lot of that is like, I don't know. There were a lot of scenes I was like, oh hell yeah! Like
there's cool shit in there.
This is gonna be gruesome. And it's like and I could see someone like saying like, oh, like I just am not into that, or like that makes me like really uncomfortable, and like that could be like a source of like uneasy. But like for me at least, like wasn't really scary. Versus like The Strangers, definitely parts of it are just like scary. Like you're saying, like they built tension. And this movie has some parts of it where it seems like they are trying to build tension, and some parts where like they're maybe diffusing that in a scary way. There were like 2 or 3 points where I was like, oh, okay, I could see how that could be scary, but I just don't think it was executed well enough for me to really get, like, scared by it. There were a lot of parts that were maybe made me sort of, like, uneasy, or, like, sort of, like, you know...
Yeah, like I know a jump scare is gonna
anything, right?
come out. Yeah.
Right. Well, like, so... And, I mean, spoilers, right? I'll say, like, the part where he, like, climbs up the stairs...
Yeah, that's
like,
fun.
You know, on all fours.
Yeah.
That was cool, yeah. I would have liked to see more like that. The part where he's, like, banging his head against the door to the downstairs before he gets, like, woken up. I was like, oh, that's definitely uneasy, you know, it adds some tension. But then they just, like, diffuse it with long periods of time afterwards where
nothing is happening.
Nothing really happening.
Yeah.
For a movie that's 77 minutes long, it has a lot of breathing room, a lot of downtime.
That's why I was like, I don't think this needed to be a movie, like, which sounds sounds shitty, like I'm being, like, just shady, but, like, so okay, God, there's so many different things to talk about with this movie. I'm a big watcher of... Shout out watchers.
Shout out the watchers.
I'm a big watcher of like YouTube horror. Like, I do love a YouTube like horror short film, not like the like creepypasta style, but like I do like a short film, you know, 5 to 10, 20 minutes, you know, of like, you know, like YouTube, like whatever. I don't know how else to describe it, but I do like, sometimes I'll just watch like 3 or 4 of those, like that get recommended to me. Cause like
short.
Yeah, they're fun. And the look, and like, I've never seen one that like fucking blew my mind, but like, that's okay. Sometimes it's enough to get just like 2 or 3 creepy images in a 5 to 10 minute span. Like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
The look and like production quality of this movie really reminded me of one of those. I was like, oh, this should have been like 20 minutes on YouTube or something. Like, this didn't need to be like everything about it. Like, I want to kind of come back to because what you said was like, oh, I would be scared shitless if I were like a dog's POV haunted house movie.
Yeah.
Do you think the central premise, because at first you're like, oh, this is like great. Like, this is really clever. Like, right. Like, is the central premise really even a good idea for a feature length movie? Is it?
So I would say yes, but right.
But not this movie.
One of the biggest problems that... well, not this movie. One of the biggest problems that I had was that since you only have one other character to work with, like, the stakes are always reliant upon them, you know? Mm-hmm. If this was, like Guy takes his dog on, like, a trip out to the, like, his grandfather's haunted, you know, cabin, haunted house or whatever, with others, right? Like, if there were 4 people involved... you can really, like, work up the stakes with, like, oh, hey, like, where is, you know, X, Y, or Z? But it's just the one guy, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like...
I feel you, for sure.
Production limitations, whatnot. But
sure.
Like, it just doesn't hit the same... And I think, like, that was a large part of the reason why they had a lot of those flashbacks to try to, like heighten stakes and sort of like make you feel more attached and whatnot. But like it's also it's weird because it's across like an indeterminate time frame. Just with him like arriving there, his
and then his like deteriorating,
going to the doctor, like that sort of stuff. Where it seems like, oh, okay, he's been there at least a few days. But like he's talking to his sister and she's like, oh, I was going to come down this weekend. It's like, okay, so he's been there under a week, which also means that he like left his apartment in the middle of the week. He's like got no job. He just sort of showed up here.
The story felt like, really so sort of hand wavy. Like, yeah. That's why, like, you know, you mentioned that there aren't other characters to work with, and I think like that's the point, right? Is they want to keep it as, you know, grounded in the dog's perspective. But there's 2 problems with that. One is, if a dog doesn't have people to interact with, there aren't really that many things that a dog can interact with in a house. Like, there just aren't. And it's not like they're at a spooky, you know, in a spooky cave or a spooky, you know, whatever, like haunted shopping mall, like it's a house. And so there's really like the limitations of that are there. But also like, you know, there wasn't really anything about this movie that did something new with like a dog interacting with ghosts that you couldn't just slot in a kid, like a young kid.
Right.
Like there was nothing about it that couldn't, like you could make this about a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old who like can't really talk and like, or a baby, and it would be more or less the same movie other than the kind of like action stuff at the end where the baby has to like, or the dog has to drag, the owner around. But like, so kind of, it was like, I don't even know that you can really make a good movie out of this. Like if you added extra characters, like it would be able to interact more, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, is there really that much interesting stuff about it? It just can't escape that gimmickiness,
I think even adding, so my idea behind adding other characters is like, again, you could do a horror movie with like 2 people, but like, like the horror being inflicted upon them from the outside generally has to be from like other people, really, because like, again, like just 2 people, like,
there has to be like a ghost or something, right?
Right. And like, yeah, sure, there's kind of a ghost here, but it's not like really directly interacting with our guy until the end of the film, so it's like, okay, not really. It's just, I don't know. Now if you're like, if you do this movie with like, okay, like dog and his owner goes out there, you're really just shifting like the perspective from the owner to the dog.
Right.
And in a lot of like horror movies, the dog does die, right?
Right.
So it would be interesting to me, at least, to see like the dog escape like some form of horror and like try to warn their owner. And then like, things devolve from there. I mean, Evil Dead is a great example of that, right? Where dog dies very early in the movie, after like, kind of warning and like revealing like where the evil stuff is hidden, yada yada. It's like, okay, cool. You could do something similar to that with like the dog's POV, and I think you could make something very, very interesting out of that. I think this movie just, again, like production limitations, they had like a really, really cool concept that they couldn't quite execute on properly, right?
So tell me, because like I kind of thought about this too, because I was like, man, this does feel like the production limitations are really obvious, right? Like the fact that they, like they're only working with the like really 2 to 4 actors, right? They're doing a lot of this stuff, like, just from the dog's point of view, it feels like, because they don't have the resources to do it otherwise. But if let's say that this movie suddenly had like a huge budget, like millions and millions, what could the dog really do? Like if we're going to the, because like something, and this fucking pissed me off, and we can talk about it afterward, but the little ending post-credits shit where they talk about the Kuleshov effect and like how the whole point of this movie, okay, anyway, but like if they want to stick to the idea of like using a real dog as an actor, what could they really do? I mean, like, let's say that there is like some CG whatever allowed and whatnot to like give it some more violence or something if we wanted, but like, what is a dog going to, like, what are the, like, right? Like what is a dog's perspective? How is a dog's perspective so unique? Like, what is unique about a dog's perspective? Like, literally outside of like the senses, right? And of like, like seeing different, things and hearing different things. Like, okay, most horror movies, like about a ghost, there's usually a character who sees things other people don't, at first.
Right. So it would be a dog taking that role is essentially it, right?
But like, but there's nothing unique about that. So like, is there something else that a dog could, like a dog not understand? I thought the dog wasn't going to be able to understand the dialogue, and so we wouldn't be either. Like, I thought that was where we were kind of going to go with it when we didn't see, because we didn't see faces and stuff. And so I was like, okay, is that the direction we're going? No. So like, we understand what's going on. So like,
I was very hopeful that with the not being able to see faces, we would see more of like a possession type thing occur, which like we kind of get some of. But like, I mean, even down to the end scene where he's like, oh, like, you're a good dog, but you can't save me. Again, it would be maybe more interesting if, new premise. It's still from the dog POV, but like, you know, it's a dog being taken like on like a little trip with, you know, 4 people. Right. And let's say we introduce that the dog can't understand what the people are talking about, but like,
sure,
you can still hear them and like you know, talk in like sort of like more exaggerated tones,
right?
Their voices.
Yeah. Which could be fun because you might not understand the dynamics at play. You don't understand who's like good or bad. Like there's a lot, like a dog's perspective on like who is a bad guy is going to be different if they can't, you know. So like that could be interesting.
So, and something that they started to play around with, and I kind of wish they had, again, maybe done a little bit more with, is like the hand thing, right? Like, because animals especially are like very receptive to your hands because like that's like the main way that they interact with you, and it's like very difficult for them to maybe understand your facial expressions and whatnot, right? So it would be really cool to like have like, again, with more people, it would be fun to like, you know, you get to know these people just through their hands, right?
Yeah,
and then
true.
You can have cool scenes like a hand cut off that like the dog sort of like nuzzles and like you don't like you don't really see what's wrong with it until like he pulls away and there's like blood on him and
or something,
you
whatever.
See more
like,
of it, and it's and it's like a bloody arm that's been cut off. Something like there's a lot that you could sort of play around with, and a lot of cool, interesting ways that you could like have the dog discover that, oh hey, something's wrong, or like reveal to the audience that something's wrong, right?
Yeah, I think you're exactly on point, because I think this movie doesn't commit to the premise and doesn't make big enough swings. You know, for all that I didn't like about Skinamarink, that I thought Skinamarink was like fucking stupid and like very gimmicky. At the very least, it commits for the most part to like that visual style and like that like super locked in, you know, you are seeing things from the kid's point of view. Like that is like very and true point of view, not just, you know. So like the idea that because there's a fucking scene in this movie where the dog doesn't show up. Like it's just the human. Yeah. And that pissed me off. I was like, what the fuck? Like the whole point is that like the dog wouldn't know that this is happening. So I think you're right. And I know we're doing the thing where like we're talking about what this movie, like writing a better movie, like just talking about a different movie that doesn't exist. But I think I do too. I do too, but I sometimes think that can be unproductive. You know, we're not actually talking about the movie, but in this case, there's not that much to fucking talk about. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah. The whole fucking thing is unproductive, all right?
That's true. You're so fucking right. But no, but like, you know, you raise all these good ideas and like I think part of the problem is that this movie doesn't really want to be like a really weird experimental swing for the fences type thing. It wants to still be like this like, kind of prestige-y, almost like real. It wants to still look like a regular narrative movie. Like there's nothing about it that looks that strange or like that you wouldn't see in any other, like if it was like a dog and a kid, right? Or like if these were just scenes from like a bigger, longer horror movie about like a family, like all of these scenes would fit in. There would not be anything in here that was like weird to include in like a regular quote movie, you know, that doesn't have this kind of high concept premise. So I feel like maybe that's my big problem with it, other than just like on principle, I don't love the central premise, but like it really doesn't commit to it in an interesting way.
Yeah. I think a part of that is, or at least I think a part of the big miss for me is the way that ghosts work, right? Yeah. Because there are 2 ghosts in this film, right? The ghost of the older guy who, I mean, essentially, we can assume that it's some family curse or whatever.
Right, it's his grandpa or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And it's like his grandfather was the last one, but like the guy says like, oh, like my whole family's buried here. They all died young. And it's like, oh, okay, so like this has affected all of them. It's something haunting them, sure, whatever. And like his grandfather was the last one, and he's still haunting the house because he was the last one to die there. But the dog, who, not Indy, but the previous dog,
the lab,
whose name they mention, and I don't remember,
or retriever,
is also haunting the house. And, like,
he's the good ghost.
Indy, yes, is the good ghost, and gives Indy these, like, flashbacks to, like, the bad times of what's happening. That's fine. I guess. But I don't know. So they do it twice, right? And the one with the chair was like kind of interesting. It's funny how they had Indy pee on command, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. Like that made me laugh out loud. And I was like, I don't know if they wanted
I also
to laugh.
laughed at that. Yes. Yeah. But again, so like that would have been like a prime time opportunity to break tension, right? But the scene leading up to it is not very tense, because we have an action scene. It's it would have been maybe more interesting if that was a more tense tone of like the flashback itself was a more tense tone with like the guy like getting sicker and like the dog not really knowing what's going on, and like secluding a bit more and like see him hanging out on the chair, like that sort of stuff where it's like, oh, okay, like we know that something is wrong, and like you can even hint at like the possession type or the, whatever you want to call it, the mold monster, right? Like you can hint at that still without, like, by the time we see it, they're very heavy-handed with it,
Yeah. The ending is so fucking unsatisfying. I hated the ending. Like, yes. Not to skip right to the ending, but...
Well, no, let's talk about that. If they wanted to do something that had, like... Because that's very slasher-esque, right? Where there's, like, it's a lot happening, it's like, demonic possession.
He's in the fucking doghouse, and he has to, like, break away, and, like, the thing is, like, dripping onto him. Yeah.
That works only if you have other characters that you can, like, continue this with, right? And it very much so breaks with the tone of the rest of the film, right? And, like, not in a good way. Like, him, I think, does that in, like, a better way. Not a movie that, like, we particularly enjoyed, but, like, they definitely do that in a better way, where, like, yes, the ending 15 minutes or so
insane.
has a different tone.
Yeah.
But like, it's fun, right? Versus this is, like, more serious, and like, especially with their budget limitations and the CGI isn't like great, it just kind of misses the mark, right?
This is, it's the like, the tone of this thing, like striving for such a like serious, emotional, like, all of this is right. This whole movie is basically predicated on, don't we love our dogs? Don't we love dogs as like an extension of us and their loyalty to us, and like they're so cute and like good boy, whatever. And so like to then ground this movie around that gives it this tone that is not, it's like very serious, and like it doesn't work. Like the dog pisses on the floor in fear. That's crazy. Like who it feels like it's appealing it just feels like it's
funny.
It's
like we said,
it's funny. But it feels like it's trying to be like, oh, it's so scary. It's so scary that it scared the dog, and like, I don't know. It's just, it's like, it's annoying. And then you have this weird shit at the end, that feels completely out of place amongst all of this other, like the action that's happening does not fit with that tone because it gets so goofy, it's goofy and not goofy derogatory, like not good.
Yes.
The Diet Coke lime is starting to hit now. I'm getting all worked up talking about this.
I mean, so I think the way that you might be able to pull this off with like a single person and a single dog, right? And I think they almost toe this line, is showing the owner as a bad person, right?
Yeah.
And they have him sort of get mad at Indy a couple of times, and they have him chain him up in the backyard. But like, if they had him like yanking at his collar, yanking at his chin, then it would make more sense. The ending of like retribution style, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, he's being punished for what he has done wrong. And it's like, okay, like that kind of logically makes sense, and it would.
But instead he's possessed by a traumatic curse of, whatever. And it's like so fucking, right. Right.
But it's like, if you're going with the possession route, right, then like, the like clambering up the stairs, the like hitting his head against the door, the like trying to get down to the basement, that all is like consistent. And then it breaks at the end because it's like, it has to like possess him, but it's dragging him down to the basement by a chain in order for him to like be fully possessed. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Can I just say I want to come back to more about this, but all of the like horror imagery is so derivative. There's not like even just like banging your head on the door. We've seen that a ton of times. Fucking, like things crawling up the stairs. Like that's such a classic, like thing. Like it's like, there's not any original horror imagery, I don't think, in this movie. And that's also so depressing. It's like, damn, you can't even do, anything? Yeah.
We got another big miss off of that because, dude, dogs, bones, hello?
Yeah, hello.
Like,
yeah, true.
Doing nothing with that is crazy. Like, not even having him, like, bring, like, one of the bones
like
of
a skeleton
of
the dog,
dog that he discovers.
Yeah.
Right. Like, not having anything to do with, like, oh, the dog fetches a bone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a miss.
Feels like a miss.
To do something there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you could do something spooky with that too. Like,
right,
like when the arm like reaches out of the ground.
Yeah.
Like, if he ripped like the bone out of it, A, it would have been kind of funny. But B, it's like, I don't know, it's just something interesting, fun, cool. Throw it in there, you know.
So no, I think you're right. And so this brings me to kind of my next point about like, is this even really a good idea of a movie? Like, let me put it this way. I think if you made like an animated version of this story, I think you could do a lot more, right? And I think this movie, wants to execute on the premise of like, let's have a movie starring a dog. Like that is a big fucking part of it, is that the dog is like a real dog and they're really, having the dog act. It's not acting, but like, and like anchoring the story around that. But I think this movie shows that, actually, that's not a good fucking thing to make a movie about. Because, like, if you were to have, like, a dog, like, you mentioned him, like, yanking on the dog's chain, right? And there's a couple scenes where you can tell that there's a dog puppet in the action scene, like, that it's a puppet of a dog and not the dog. But, like, when he, like, swears at the dog, like, they're obviously recording that in post. Like, they're not, like, yanking on the dog and, like, screaming at it, in real time. So there's only so much that you can really do, because you're not going to want to really put a dog in these kinds of like crazy situations. So I feel like this movie could be much better in an animated format. Like I think this is a good, or like if there was more of a
primetime candidate for that,
or like a willingness to say, maybe we don't want to make a whole movie surrounding a dog, like a real live dog. So I think like this is a bad experiment. This was a bad, like you've proven that this was not a good, the movie has proven that they can't do this, that this is not a good thing to do.
No, I still think the concept is fine. If the dog was a dog actor, right, then they would be able to have, because there were, there
are no dog actors. Like, I don't think you have acted, you have dogs that are trained.
They have trained dogs,
But what is the difference between, but this is a trained dog. I mean, it's less trained, obviously, but like...
by trained dog I mean trained to like
do
hit certain
tricks
marks,
and stuff,
and also trained to like bark on command and whimper on command. That's the biggest thing. Indy does not, like, especially
the whimpers
many
aren't
times when we
convincing.
see like scary thing in the background. There's no barking, there's no whimpering. When when they're doing the effect, I forget what it's called. You mentioned it earlier, but
the Kuleshov effect.
The Kuleshov effect. Yes.
Yeah.
When
it's the same face. Yeah.
The dog reacts too flatly, right? Where it's like, a normal dog would be like, and especially if you're like, oh, like, he's like, oh, but like the scariness isn't really coming, or like the fear
it's
isn't
from what
from
he's reacting
Indy.
to.
It's from the juxtaposition of it. And it's like, but like, he's not reacting to it. That's the problem, right? It doesn't seem like he's like,
because he's not an actor, because the dog isn't
just
acting.
Like looking.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there are trained dogs that you could have like whimper, or sort of like just put their ears back, anything that would like indicate, oh, this dog is more afraid than they were like half a second ago, right?
We're cooking. Okay, we're cooking now. So I hear what you're saying. So I just think, like, I actually just watched a movie a little bit before this one. So about 40 fucking movies ago. I watched a movie called White Dog. Shout out to Chris and Nick, who
shout out Chris and Nick.
They were the ones who I learned about this movie from. It's a movie from, I want to say the early 80s, and its premise is that there is a this woman finds a dog who has been trained to attack and kill black people, like by racists. And she works with this dog trainer to try to like train it out of that behavior, like to see, like to kind of rehabilitate it. And there's tons of dog. I mean, it's all about a fucking dog. And like, it's not from the dog's point of view or whatever, but there's a lot of dog acting in that movie. But at the end of the day, anytime you see a dog in a movie, especially an older movie where they're not using effects, you can tell when any animal is like trained when they're fighting, for example, like when it's like a violent scene, because the dog's tail's wagging. Like it's a happy, like dogs are, it's very hard to like, and I'm not saying, and that doesn't take away. I thought that was a great movie. I think that like, that's good. I don't obviously want a dog really fighting somebody. But I think that, I think it works when it's not the whole movie, when it's not your protagonist who, but like, I don't know that the limitations of like just a dog performer, because a dog doesn't know, a dog knows to execute on tricks, but a dog is not imparting emotion. A dog is not performing for a screen or for an audience in the same way. So I don't think that this can work.
I've seen movies where like dogs have like exhibited fear and like
sure. I hear what you're saying,
and I'm saying like if they had injected just a little bit of that,
a little more of
like,
that,
definitely knocked this movie
it would have been
way
better
up,
for sure.
Yeah.
I just think that like there's only so many like emotions that a dog can convey. Like it doesn't have access to the wide range of human experience in the same way. And
no, of course, so
I think putting a whole movie from the dog's perspective, you would run into the same problem even with a better trained dog. Just even if it'd be a little better than this. Low bar.
So talking about like the dog attacking, right?
Sure.
Like you can get around that with like clever camera angles.
With clever editing. And that's what they do.
When you're talking about like
Yeah.
And when you're talking about like from like the POV of the dog, especially like I mean this is not technically POV, but if you're like behind the shoulder or whatever, like you could get away with like seeing like Indy attack like a creature of the night without seeing him like wagging his tail, because like we just can cut that out. We just do not have to include that portion of Indy because it's from Indy's point of view, right? And again, you can play more into the like not seeing people's faces, and you can really play off of the fear of like the fear of the unknown, and they just don't play into that, right?
It feels a lot like they wanted to. They were like, we love our dogs so... It's almost like okay, I'm going to say something really shitty. It's like a vanity project almost, that they're like, we love our dogs so much. Our dog is so great. Wow, we can really play off of, like our dog and have this. But then like the execution is so poor. Like and the ending, the fucking post-credits scene made me so fucking mad when it was playing. I was like, first off, I was like, this is only in here because you probably didn't even qualify as a fucking feature film if you didn't put this in. It was probably like 5 minutes of like that little vignette. If they didn't have that in the credits, it would be like 65 minutes of running time. Like it would, it would barely qualify as like an after school special. And so like, oh, and then, but then
the guy
like
was
the
also,
idea,
like kind of condescending about it.
He was,
yes.
Okay,
come on.
Yeah. That's what I was like, this is like such a millennial, like derogatory, like point, like the guy just, whatever, like, I don't know who these people are, fine, whatever. I hope they make a lot of money, but, the like, the idea that you have to explain your fucking movie in your post-credits scene, like, is so damning. Like that was what I called it, my Letterboxd review. Just like, it's such a damning indictment of like, oh, this premise wasn't very good, so you want to explain yourself and try and like acquit yourself of like an unsuccessful project is how it felt. Ooh, oh, it annoyed me.
There's also, I don't know. It's like, there's a few scenes where I think they like actually do really well with the craft, right? And like one of them he outlines in the the outro bit where the ghost dog runs across the screen, and like Indy sort of like turns and looks at it and then follows. Like from watching that, I was like, oh man, like I mean,
fun.
I
cool.
You only see it for half a second, but I was like, okay, couldn't really tell whether that was a real dog or a fake one. But like just when watching, I was like, man, that would have been like kind of tough to pull off with like a real dog. I was like, that's kind of interesting. I wonder how they did it. And then later on, you do kind of clearly see that they're using a mannequin, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess that was that. And then he explains it at the end, and it's like, okay, so, like, and it's especially kind of, it would be like at the end of The Great Escape, if they were like, hey guys, you wonder how we filmed these underground portions? And then they, like, took you onto the set, and, like, they have, like, the like, ground and everything, and, like, the, like, opening tunnel, and they were like, our actors weren't actually underground. Don't worry about that. This is how we work this. And it's like, okay,
this
like,
is the funniest.
I get
this
it.
Is such a funny pull, Ricky. I don't think you realize how funny of all of the fucking movies you could have just said that you referenced The Great Escape, which I know is because we talked about that. Like, how did they film that?
Yeah.
But it's, it is.
Yeah.
Imagine putting your, like, behind the scenes, like, featurette at the end of your fucking movie in theaters. That's so crazy.
Right,
You're right. You're really right.
Yeah. Especially because it's the magic. It's I don't know. It's like the magician at Friendly's, like, you know, showing you how he did the trick. It's like, all right, cool, but like, I'm 8. I don't want to know how the quarter got bigger. I just want to like be amazed, right? It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, but it is. Like, it's condescending. Condescending is the right word for it. Yeah,
it's condescending, and I think it really. Anyone who might have been taken by parts of the film, like, you just completely destroy the magic at the end. Like, you just destroy any semblance of, like, oh, hey.
It's like, bizarre. It's a bizarre thing,
charming and interesting. Right. Yeah.
And the idea, I think, you know, now that you've mentioned, like, that there are, like, that this is an untrained dog, in that it is not, like, a professionally trained, whatever, actor, quote unquote, like, kind of pisses me off more, because it's kind of giving, like, those...
drives home the point that it's a full vanity project, right? Like they were doing this for them, and now they're like, oh, here's a theatrical release. Like, if this was a home movie that somebody had showed me, I would have been
I'd be like, wow, that's really fun. Cool.
Like, and like, we could go to certain scenes, I could be like, how'd you get Indy to sort of, like, look around, like, when it looks like the, like, curtains are moving, and they could be like, oh, well, you know, I was working off of this effect, yada yada, and, like, that would have been fun and engaging, but instead, it's explained to me like I'm an 8-year-old at the end of the film, and it's like, bro, I keep going back to the 8-year-old thing, I'm trapped with that.
You're not,
come on.
No, you're not wrong, because it is, like, it has no faith in the audience. It thinks the audience are a bunch of dumbasses who, like, can't tell when things are... Yeah. And so, but, like, the... I think it also undermines you know, I didn't even really think about it from that perspective, but it undermines the idea of having a trained animal that can convey, like, a broader range, like, that, you know, to be like, oh, the audience is the one actually bringing all of the fear or whatever, like, the reacting to, you know, the dog's face. Like, yeah, that is kind of, like, undermining, like, it's being, like, almost like, oh, well, any old amateur can do, you know, XYZ, like, any, you know, amateur dog, of course, like, the dog doesn't have feelings about this, but, you know,
It would very much...
I should drop my fucking review lower. I should rate this movie lower than I did.
No, like... I think it'd be something similar, like Megan or Annabelle or like Chucky, any movie that has a doll, which, like, cannot emote. It just, the doll cannot emote. And, like, there is a clear example of, like, the effect that they were going for, right? Where, like, there is no emotive, there's nothing emotive coming from, like, the actor on screen. What is emotive is, like, the audience seeing the juxtaposition of, like, scenes, right?
Sure,
which is, like,
which
they very much so explain. But, like, when the dog does not have, especially if you, like, I don't know, interact with animals at all,
ever,
on, like, a weekly, you know, basis at minimum,
or just, like, ever in your life,
kind of, ever, like, you understand that, like, oh, when dogs are scared, like, they sort of hunch down, their ears go back, they'll make whimpering noises, and they try to make themselves small, like, the nose goes down, but, like, at pretty much any, and like, that would help build tension, right? But pretty much any scene where it's like, oh, like, this is obviously meant to be building tension and, like, adding to the, you know, thrill factor, like, when the bubble pops, is, like, immediately diffused by the fact that, like, Indy is not scared. His ears are perked up, he's looking back and forth, bright-eyed. He's a serious dog. They do mention, they're like, oh, like, he's such a serious dog, we thought this would be, like, great for him. And it's like, yes, he is a very serious dog.
Yeah,
but, like,
maybe it's not great. Yeah, maybe that's a detriment, actually. Yeah, right.
It would have been fine if he never barked, right? If he never barked or never whimpered, it would have been fine, because I would have been like, oh, okay, that's just the dog. But, like, he does at certain points.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, So now it's just you could not get him to, right? And it's like,
yeah. Well,
me,
and
man.
the one time when he whimpers, it's definitely like a sound effect that they added after the fact. It's not like it, because the dog is not doing whimpery things, you know, like it's, So, ooh, I hate it more. I'm dropping it down. I think I hated this more than I hated Skinamarink, actually. I think I actually,
that's crazy, bro.
Sometimes, sometimes it takes the act of discussing. I have tried really hard not to think about this movie because it made me so mad the night I watched it. So yeah, the act of talking about it makes me like it less. Which happens.
So this is so nuts because like all of these things, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. But I think the concept itself, at least to me, is so interesting.
It could be fun.
Has so much potential.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, for me personally, I'm like, oh, okay, like they took a stab at it, but like, again, they just didn't execute, right? I'm like, okay,
and
fine.
that's the point, is that they wanted to do this premise, but they wanted to do it. They also wanted to make a point about like this, you know, dog not being a real actor, and they wanted to use their actual dog. Right. So it's like it's a wasted idea. Like if this movie were like a CGI, like, or like using a like, you know, extravaganza to where they could put this dog in different environments, or like, again, like it was animated so that there were no technical limitations with the dog, like that could be a very interesting exercise. But, you know, or if they wanted to be a little bit more committed to the idea of like filming over the dog's shoulder and like you're only seeing hands and like whatever, but instead they wanted it to be like, let's film around our house with our dog, and like, isn't he a good heckin' spooky pupper, love him, whatever, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do use CGI. It's like, and it's
that too. Yeah, that's what's annoying
for the monster.
Yeah.
And but like when Indy jumps out of the door and like glass breaks and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, so like you do have CGI, and you just chose not to use it for the rest of the film. It's like,
which I understand the price, right? Like the cost is probably
budget limitations. I get it. Yeah.
But still,
and
you know,
it might have also been that like while they were filming, They changed certain things near the end because they got like funding for CGI.
That's
because,
true.
You know, whatever.
Maybe.
You know,
I feel like it locked.
I'm not sure.
Like they probably. Because this movie was released in August, and May was when it got distribution rights, like for a wide release. Yeah. So I feel like. Okay, yeah, oh no! It debuted in March. Yeah. So it was locked, but yeah, I mean, oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of another miss, the whole black mold slime thing and like the patting Indy on the head with it, this would have worked 10 times better if he had coughed blood into his hand at an earlier scene and patted Indy without realizing and then had to wash that off of Indy. Indy goes down into the basement and gets covered in like, you know,
slime,
dirt and shit, and he has to wash that off, and then he coughs blood into the tub. If he had just like coughed and pet Indy, right? Like,
it would have been way more chilling.
In bed, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, and it also would have made much more of a callback when the like weird
the thing puts its hand on it. And,
yes, and like
fuck
when Indy
movie,
goes
man.
to like, bite him because well when Indy goes to bite him because like the ghost thing or whatever sort of takes him over and like pets him when he's first holding him, right? It's like that would have been a perfect way to call back earlier in the film where you pet him and your hand is filled with blood. And it also, like, that's scary to the audience. And, like, they played too much around this guy's illness, right? Because he was really the main character. And they're playing too much off of that versus
instead of this, like, curse
really
and,
the main character.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they can do the curse and have it tied in with
the illness but, like, have it, like, the paranormal stuff being, right. Like, scary
but, like,
to
show,
the
don't
dog.
tell.
Right.
Yeah. Like have the dog be freaked out because like he's being pet by a bloody hand, and then like he's conflicted because it's still his owner, yada yada. Like there's so much there that like even like off of if they're like no, like we still want to film out of our home, we still want it to just be like just me and my dog, right? There's a lot more that they could have worked on that would have really driven it home and like just made a more cohesive film overall.
True. Well, and the pacing is all over the fucking place, like you're describing. Yeah. Like nothing happens for the first like 20 minutes. And this is not 20 minutes is a third of the fucking movie. So 20 minutes is a long time for your dog to like basically just be pacing around the house and like not literally pacing. But then like things suddenly ramp up with the illness. Like if you're gonna have it be like this grounded, like human story at the end of the day where it's like, oh, he's sick and he's got this family sickness and he's gonna fucking die and whatever. It's like, okay, why would you not build up to that better than just being like one day he's at the doctor and the nurse is like, you didn't come in soon enough. Like, I was like, you suck so bad. Also, you can take your dog into the fucking like x-ray, like the MRI. Like, what are you talking about? It's so stupid. They were like, oh, we need to make sure the dog sees this because it's from the dog's point of view. So they take the dog into the MRI lab. That dog should be in the machine. Like, that dog should have been sucked in. Like, anyway.
Lane, the first misstep for me was the very opening scene where he's like on the couch and Indy's there and he's coughing blood. And I'm like, any pet owner would know that if you're like if you're like coughing that much and like if you're coughing up blood even quietly, right?
Yeah.
Your pet is going to freak the fuck out. Like, Indy was not like if Indy was like trying to comfort him, like lick his face or like, nuzzle him, or
but it's just
like that,
laying
I'd be
there.
like, okay, understandable dog reaction. Yes. Or when he hears someone at the door, if he had barked, gone to the door,
or even just gotten up. Yeah,
anything. Yeah. At that point, they could have just had a little stuffed animal that they CG'd sometimes, right? Like, that's all you're really using him for. Is that a stuffed animal that like follows the guy around? It's like, okay, well, So like, really cool premise, but just they didn't execute on it.
Well, and, you mentioned the very, very opening scene of him coughing the blood, which, like, sometimes I understand when, I don't love when people make this critique, but it really is the trope of, like, oh, a character coughed, they're gonna die. Like, they're gonna get sick and die. Like, even if, like, no one coughs in movies. So, like, I mean, you kind of know where the story is headed from the opening, just based on that. Like, oh, this is a big metaphor for sickness. Like, we get it. I mean, points for it at least not being mental illness, I guess. Like, whatever. But, like, woo, like barely. Even then, metaphorically, it could still be. But the pacing too.
I mean, passed down in the family. I mean, it does kind of like, it's
hereditary.
They're towing a line,
Yeah. I think this dog should have cut his head off with piano wire. Actually, it would have been a better movie if they had just gone really gory for like one scene, like just like.
I don't know. Again, like, there's, like, 2 or 3, maybe 4 scenes that I would say, like, like, you could, like, transpose these onto, like, another film and make it much
a better movie. Yeah.
But it just doesn't fit,
Yeah. Well, and we've been talking a lot about, like, the story and, like, the acting and whatnot, but I think there are other like weird bad choices that this movie makes about like the way it looks. Like the lighting is so simplistic and boring and one note and ugly. Like the idea, there's so many, like every fucking scene is lit the same way in the house where it's like the dog's face is the only thing that's like got any fucking light on it. It's so it's like a spotlight. And I get that that is an effect they fucking used in, like in post more than anything, but like it really, it's so boring. Like it's so boring. They didn't have to do that. Like
yeah. The one thing that kind of disappointed me is anytime that we sort of see from Indy's eyes, which I don't think is very often, but like I do believe that he does it like once or twice when he's like running up the stairs in particular. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to see like this is going to sound dumb, but like smell lines or something like that, like scent lines
I thought
anything.
That too. Like why
like
not use the dogs? Right.
Yeah.
Lean into the dog's perspective more. Like lean into its,
Yes. And I think if you're going to do dogs POV, and especially if you're going to like, if you want to incorporate grayscale, which I think you could work really well into a movie from a dog's point of view. Working blood and mold, like the blood and mold slime, and like dark red blood is going to look the same as like a weird black mold, and like you can play off of that really, really well. Like, there's so much that you could do with that. And, like, you could have, like, blood splatters.
Loves the fucking
it's not
mold.
a blood splatter.
Yeah.
It's like a mold. It's like mold spores or whatever. Like, you can work around that, and you can, like, do these, like, fun, quote-unquote, fun little
reach into
tricks,
the mold
guess, right?
dial on the film in the fucking video village and just cranking it up. Ricky says, put more mold in it.
Dude, I'm going in there, I'm spritzing the walls down, I'm turning the heat way up to like 85, we're mold maxing right now, alright? I am mycelium pilled, I'm mycelium maxing, I'm mold pilled,
fungus cell, yeah.
I'm a fungus cell, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, people call me a fun guy, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's a gimmicky movie that doesn't want to look gimmicky, but it still wants to draw attention to the gimmicks. Like, it's like, it wants to be seen as better, which, okay, so this has nothing to do with the movie, whatever.
Lane's about to have the most, like, heinous fucking insult for no reason.
No. They put out, right, like, right now is when people are submitting movies for consideration by the Academy. So like if you're like, this is like, now is the time, that like different different actors will be submitted for like best supporting versus best lead actor or actress or whatever, or like adapted versus original screenplay. And there was a fucking press release type thing from the fucking director of this movie that was like an open letter about how whatever indie doesn't qualify for an acting category, and like how it undermines the work of blah blah blah, and it's written in the Heckenpupper tone. It's just like, it's like your movie cringe. Is like, it's fucking major fucking cringe, yeah. But like it's so smug and condescending. Like, it's such a, like, setting us like, again. And I really wonder if I would feel differently if this was a movie that we found in like 2 or 3 years on YouTube or whatever, like or a short
film,
like
completely underground.
Yeah,
like nobody's really heard of it. It's got 1,042 views. It's like,
time
to boot this bad boy up, right?
But
at least then
it's so,
we could like poke fun at it more like freely, right? It's like, oh, okay, well. Like, they obviously didn't have the budget. Yeah, okay, like, sure, fine. Like, I liked X, Y, and Z, but,
But the promotional, like, aspect of it, like, that belies, if that is not a marketing gimmick that was just cooked up by, like, the distribution company, right? And that was, like, truly, because I think it was signed by the director. Like, I think, this guy, like,
Ben.
Ben, I, like, that just tells me, like, everything I need to know. Like, that's the direction you took your fucking little, like, promo campaign in, like, you want to draw it to, it's just so anyway. Also, naming your dog Indy, like just to be really shitty.
An indie film,
no, he's Indiana Jones. That's the they showed the like clip of him watching Indiana Jones or whatever, and it's like, oh, your movie star dog. Oh, your dog's a fucking movie star or whatever. Yeah, anyway.
They should have named him Ford.
After Henry Ford.
He's his hairy son,
workers
right?
Now. Yeah, right, of course. His hairy son Ford. Yeah, cool. Yeah. That's funnier than anything in this movie, or like more interesting. We're so funny. Yeah. The whole thing. We should make a movie. It'd be so bad. It'd be great. You know what, though? That's fine.
I think Banks is just as emotive as Indy, so, like...
Bankruptcy has nothing going on at all. Although, like, when they did show the end little, like, post-credits thing where it was like, oh, we had to make, like, crazy sounds to get the dog to look. I can relate because I definitely have had to do that to get my fucking cat to look at the camera. But yeah, he is... basically as emotive as this fucking dog, and interacts even less with the world around him.
It would, so like, I'll go a step further. I think even a horror movie from the point of view of a cat could be way more interesting. A really funny concept and really good. From a cat next door who hangs out on like the windowsill and just like
sees
watches
it all
like
and like watches
shit go down.
Well, Well, and cats
he
have
just,
like
doesn't give a
the
shit.
spiritual connection. True. Yeah, that could be really fun. Like a cat that like is too good. You know, and like cats can have like more emotion in the way they move, like, than a dog can.
Yeah,
like, I think a cat, like, the way a cat moves and, like, walks it can convey more, like, smugness, right? So, like, yeah, the idea of, like, a cat that gets roped into this thing against its will, like, this neighbor fucking dog that's, like, getting into shit and digging up bones. We should write a movie. We're so fucking clever. Write that down. I'll bleep this so that we can copyright it. We don't get anyone stealing ideas. No,
Well, the cat thing would also be funny just because, like...
Let's just make a better movie.
Especially if you're, like... Yeah, but, like, especially if you're not, like, staying strict to the POV of the cat. Because you can have, like, very tense scenes where, like, you see the killer, like, walk into the house and you're like, oh, fuck, like, what's going to happen? Sure. And, like, you see people, like, in the window, and then it just, like, cuts back and the cat's just, like, licking their ass in the windowsill. And, like, it just focuses on that for, like, 5 minutes. And
we should make
just something that can be very funny and, like, breaks tension, right?
We should make, like, a 5-minute parody movie of, like, a short film parodying this. Yeah, but it's from a cat. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. The music. I did want to talk about the music. Completely just like bad music. Just like not good. Just routine, boring, fucking adds nothing music.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, doesn't build tension. Doesn't build or break tension properly. Doesn't. Yeah. I mean, part of that's also like, I just don't think this guy's maybe the best director out there, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, true. Ben. Nothing against, like, and this is not like a character flaw of his, although, like, we do think that he is condescending and, you know, maybe...
And we're attacking him personally, but...
No.
Parody, allegedly. I'm going to harken back to the days when we were calling Kevin Spacey a fucking, like, sexist pest or whatever, and I cut the word allegedly back in.
Calling Kevin Spacey a pedophile. Yeah. Yes.
Unconfirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, where do you also go from here as a director?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do next? Like, do you do a real movie? Like, or are you gonna stick to your fucking gimmick? Ooh, yeah. I have a personal dislike.
I think, I think this would be really, really fun and cool if one of my friends had shown me it at, like, if they were like, hey, like, I kind of, like, we made a little movie together. Like, would you want to watch it with us? I'd be like, hell yeah. I would be super supportive about this. I would tell them all the stuff that I really liked about it.
Yeah.
And, like, because I wouldn't be looking at it through, like, the lens of, this is a movie, like, this is a horror movie that's, like, made by people who are trying to scare me. Because this movie is not scary, and it is not, like, the fun horror movie, you know, fun in quotes. It doesn't really have any of those scenes. It's occasion, like, again, and I keep going back to this, the scene of him, like, running up the stairs, that's maybe the only scene that I would say is scary, right?
Really scary, yeah.
And I will give this not, like, enough.
I'll give this movie one other. I know earlier I said all of the scares are derivative. I did like the scene of the show, or the shot showing that the previous dog had scratched at the door. I thought that was kind of fun. That was like the type of thing that like a kid would not necessarily notice that. Like, that is a dog thing. Like, that's like unique to a dog's perspective. Like, that was interesting. Like, you're seeing how a dog would react in this situation, specifically a dog. So like that part, sure. You know, that was like the one clever, like, interesting thing I liked about this. Which is so sad.
Because it's like one of the only things that they show us and don't explicitly tell us, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. Yeah. Wait, okay, you said this movie... No, finish your thought, because I'm going to take us in a different direction.
Yeah. Afterwards, you can,
By the way, this podcast now is officially longer than the movie, just so you know.
Hell yeah, let's go. You know, and we do that with other movies, haha, but like, this was a low bar for us to cross.
Yeah, this was an easy one. Yeah.
The one thing that really did, it's a movie riddled with inconsistencies. The one thing that also got to me was how they were like, oh, we never did find the other dog, right? Like, we never did find his dog. It's in the fucking storm cellar, bro. Like, nobody went into the basement. Nobody checked that. And, it's kind of implied that the dog was still alive and, like, died in the stairs, right? Like, maybe... I mean, it's not... I guess it's not really said whether it's before or after the grandfather died, but obviously the grandfather did not know what happened to the dog either. So we can assume that it's after the grandfather died. And it's like, okay, no one checked there? Fucking no one? No one heard the dog? No one stopped by within any period of time? And, like, that... I was like, really? Like, I don't know, man. If they had, like, more of, like, a basement area where, like, again, with, like, the scratches on the walls, if Indy had, like, discovered more of, like, a creepy basement area where, like, the dog had died at, instead of just being, like, right out of the, like, storm cellar.
Literally right there. It's like at the, like, when you open it, like, it's not even, like, buried in there, like, 10 feet or anything. It's just, like, right there.
No, it's just right there. It's like, okay, what are we doing here, guys? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of misses.
So you said that this movie made you cry, though, if I'm not misremembering.
No, you're not misremembering. It did.
That's crazy, Ricky. That's so fucking crazy for how much we shit on this movie that it still made you cry. I know that, I understand, but go on.
No. So for the watchers, I lost my cat 6 months ago. And Lionel was a very dog-like cat. He had a lot of dog-like qualities, and he was also very serious, right?
He was way more fucking emotive than this dog, also. He was a good cat.
He was, yeah. But, like, he loved getting belly rubs, and, like, when the guy was talking about, like, oh, yeah, like, Indy won't even let me shit in peace. Like, that was Lionel, right? Like, he'd follow me in and out of the bathroom. He would always greet me at the door, too, which is so funny to me, because whenever other people would come by to feed him, he would not greet them at the door, and they, like, told me that. Yeah. It's like, he recognized just, like, the sound of me, like, walking down the stairs, and, like, he would be waiting there, and all the time, I used to always wonder, like, oh, like, is he just always waiting at the door for me? And apparently, no, he just, like, would hear me and, like, wait. I was like, that's super cute. And so the points where he gets, like, mad at Indy, at a few points, and especially when he's chaining him out in the yard, made me really sad because, like, I don't know, there were a few times that, like, I got mad at Lionel, especially when he was sick, and I didn't know it, and, you know, like, even once I knew he was sick and I didn't know it was wrong, I don't know. There was one time Lionel, like, wasn't eating, though, and, like, I would hold on to him, and, like, I would put food into his mouth, and, like, when he was holding Indy, I was like, oh, man, I don't know. It was really sad, and, like, I need some water.
Take a second. Sorry. Yeah, do your thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. I understand.
And I know I'm probably, like, one of the only people in the world that, like, I mean, outside of people who have also recently lost a pet who they were very close to, and, like, who they would, like, hold, like, similarly, right?
No, the timing
who would, like, be, like, as affected, right?
No.
I mean, it's been, 6 months. I've also lost family members, like, since then, which, like,
it's different.
Know, but, yeah. It's different. And Lionel was the one who would, like, comfort me, So, like, losing that sucks. But, especially, like, when he was holding Indy, just, like, that's, like, how I would hold Lionel. Like, he would, like, climb up into my arms, and I'd be able to pet his belly and his chest and stuff. So it sucks, It was just sad seeing that,
Yeah. Well, I'm relieved knowing that you weren't, like, wrenched by the intense emotional story and that it was more of a timing thing.
No. It was... Yeah. The production quality of the film and the film itself had very little to do with my emotional reaction to it.
Fair.
But I also was thinking, like, oh, like, as far as, like, we called this, like, a vanity project, which very much so is. I was like, oh, like, I would have loved to make a vanity project about Lionel, or something like to that degree. And, like, I do have, like, I do have videos and pictures of him, but, like, I mean, black cats are, like, pretty difficult to, like, take pictures of. To take a picture of, black. And even videos, it's, like, kind of difficult to capture, like, the je ne sais quoi. And, like, he was very emotive, and I don't know, just miss him, so.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Lionel. Shout out Lionel.
That was, shout out Lionel, for real. But that was what got me,
Yeah, okay. All right, you're valid. I take back my bullying of you, but, you're on thin ice
which would be valid without the context, but, yeah.
Yeah, if you were just like, I was so laid up by this intense emotional ending, I'd be like, you need your head checked.
No. And also,
that makes
like,
sense.
Indy was not emotive enough for me to, like,
really,
feel anything about it, but no, especially the him being like, oh, like, the get the fuck out of here, and, like, when he threw Indy away, that made me really sad, So.
Yeah. It's kind of a cheap shot to be like, oh, we're gonna have the one human like protagonist turn on the dog and like abuse it basically. Like it's very like cheap. Anyway, do we have anything else to say about fucking Good Boy from 2025?
Hey, one last miss. When he says that last line, "You're a good dog, but you can't save me."
Yeah.
Why was it not "You're a good boy, but you can't save me"? What the fuck? Like, actually, what the fuck, bro? Like, I know it's cheesy to include the title of the film in the film, right?
But this is a cheesy fucking movie, but like, so yeah,
it's a cheesy fucking movie. Like, do you think you're above? I mean, obviously they do think they're above that, but like, bro, come the fuck on, man. That was just crazy.
Yeah. I don't like the title. I think the title is it just like is the icing on the fucking cake. Like, we have watched some movies with like bad titles, like Skinamarink, good title, even though it's like not a good movie. You know what I mean? So like Good Boy, it's like there's nothing, like it's just trying to play on the fucking dog culture, like whatever millennial shit.
But and again, just not willing to commit. Like they're just not.
Right.
You're not swinging for the fences. It's like, bro, like, come on.
True.
So very Good Boy, but not a good film.
True. Yeah.
It was fine. True. I liked the concept. I wish it had better execution.
I didn't like the concept. I think that none of this should ever have seen the light of day. I think they should have cut 70 minutes off of this movie. But cool. It's our last WAIL.
Yeah, next week is Elaine's frame.
It is.
Yeah, and it is our last WAIL.
Yes. It's our last We Want a WAIL.
Cats would make... While you're doing this, I'm going to ban. Cats would make a really good, like, maybe not POV, but, like, addition to a horror film, because they're so, especially reactive to, like, a loud noise. It's very easy to make a cat, like, look like they're freaked out and look at one direction for an extended period of time. And, like, Oreo's in the background right now. If I was to clap right now, she would immediately jolt her head up and, like, start fucking looking at me like I'm insane. And, like, that would be perfect for a, like, film with a cat who is seeing, like, things that aren't there.
True.
Or, like, if it's from the POV of the cat, like, it's like, bro, I don't know. Maybe I also like cats maybe a little bit more than dogs, so that's my own internal biases, but...
I don't even necessarily like cats more than dogs. Like, I have a cat because I live in an apartment more than anything, and because I couldn't, like, that cat's my soulmate, but, like, I feel like you could, maybe this this specific dog breed isn't very expressive. It kind of feels like too, okay, I'm just gonna keep making, like, shitty personal attacks, I guess, on this dog, but, like... It's kind of a designer dog. Like, I've never heard of this breed of dog before. I'm sure I've seen this dog, but it is like a very like prissy dog. Like it's a if this were like a mutt, like a dog with a more, just like expressive face and stuff, like not a pointer. Yeah. But like instead you're left with this like whatever. Like I feel like this dog like goes like has, better health insurance than I do. Like, like...
Yeah. I mean, considering he's a star, he probably does, but...
Oh my god. All right. I hope our podcast...
He might have aged out of it. Real quick. He might have aged out of it, because they recorded this over 3 years, and, in dog years, that's 21, and, like, they get off of their parents' health insurance at 27.
This is the kind of fucking humor I would expect from this movie. That's the level of, like, clever dog humor. Oh my god. Okay. All right. Next is Elaine's frame. It's our last We Want a WAIL. So we were originally going to talk about The Shining. I feel comfortable saying that since we're not doing it. And then I was like, let's not watch The Shining. Let's we've done 5 English language movies. I know Bird with the Crystal Plumage was technically like an Italian production, but I figured we should do something a little different. And plus The Shining is kind of like it's not like an over talked about movie. I think I really do want to see it with you. I want to talk about it one day, but it is kind of like, it's in the canon in such a way that like the conversation might not be the most interesting. Although I think it would be fun and I do want to watch it sometime for this pod. So instead, I went in a different direction with our last pick. So this movie is going to be Kwaidan, or not Kwaidan, it's actually Kaidan. The W is silent in the name. So if you're looking it up, it is spelled Kwaidan. This is by Masaki Kobayashi. So, this is a movie from 1964. It is an anthology, kind of like ghost story, folktale adaptation, from the 60s. It's been on my watch list for a really long time. I told myself it is a punishing 3 hours long, unfortunately, so I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
So I put it off and put it off and put it off, and I was like, you know what? This is like a super well-known director. I've seen one other movie from this director that I really liked, that really impressed me. And this movie is well regarded, and so I was like, oh, let's take it in this direction instead. Maybe instead of going out with a bang with The Shining, maybe take things into a, maybe a little bit more of a. We've done a lot of big swings, like we've done a lot of like weird movies for We Want to Wail. So we're taking it back to the 60s. So yeah, I figured it'd be a fun end to go to. So
sweet.
Cool.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you say that about every movie, though. So
I know. Yeah, that's a voice line actually that Lane edits in, just so the watchers at home know. I haven't said that for like at least the last 20, 30 weeks.
No, not a chance. Also, I'm gonna just plug it here because when this episode comes out, it will be release day for Begonia Wide. We are going to our next movie after this. Will be Begonia. So after we watch Kaidan, we'll do Begonia, which will be coming out the week of the 7th. So November 7th. So it'll be a week after release of the movie. So go see that movie in theaters. If you're someone who watches along, then go see it. If you don't, if you're just a fucking maniac who doesn't watch the movies like Psy, shout out Psy, then I guess don't.
Shout out
Psy. The Plemenhead campaign for Best Actor starts on the 7th, bro. Soon.
Woo, let's go Plemenhead.
But first we have to wail, so we will wail.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cool.
Okay. Do we have anything to end with?
There's
like nothing good about this movie to end with, so there's no music. Should I just end with Rhoda's piano playing again from last week with the bad seed? That was really fun.
I was trying to think of like a dog related song or a song.
Who let the dogs out?
Good Boy in.
Who let the dogs out? It's the very one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Yeah.
Sad. Yeah. Maybe I'll just end. Maybe I'll just end it with silence.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. No!
Wait.
I have a great bit. Okay.
Please. Okay.
So we end. So basically, alright. You're gonna have to cut out a little bit of this, but like, we do a cut like it's the end, and then we put some like empty air, and then we talk about the like our podcast and like the way that we make our watchers do most of the work in feeling involved and listening. And that's actually a technique that we're employing here, and the watchers might not understand. But
we're actually not very funny. And so anytime that you're listening and reacting to this podcast, it's actually because you are interpreting us in a way that makes us sound funnier than we actually are. It's the coolest jump effect.
It's the juxtaposition of us being entirely unfunny to you having to listen to us, which is what makes it funny, right?
It's our reactions to the movie that you're bringing to the table.
Yeah. And that's what really elevates this podcast from just a couple of lowbrow clowns to the sleek, sophisticated podcast that it's always been, right?
This sleek, sophisticated podcast that I still can't fucking get to not have like banging sounds in the background.
Oh, they're going to be horrible this episode, by the way, because Oreo was assaulting the mic. Yeah. She's a good girl. She's a little baby.